All right, so I want to read this article. I'm going to start today's show by reading this article from the AP that has some information about the police actions in regards to the Texas school shooting at an elementary school in Uvalde. I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm sorry. So let's read. And then later on in the show, I'm going to play some video that exists. Frustrated onlookers urged police officers to charge into the Texas elementary school, where a gunman's rampage killed 19 children and 2 teachers. I read a story that the teachers, literally used themselves as human shields to protect the children. Imagine a world where there's cops. The cops watch him go into the school. The cops are there the whole time. It's not like they're 5 minutes down the street. They watched him enter the school. And teachers literally jumped in front of bullets to protect children so that they could run away. Can you imagine how fucked up that is? I'm not gonna lie to you. I was reading a lot of these details and I was crying yesterday. That shit is fucking insane. That is insane. The budget for the city that this elementary school is in spends $4 million every year on the police force. That's 40% of their total budget. They spend $4 million on cops, giving them overtime, making sure they got all the cool battering rams and the drones and the helicopters and the ropes and and they got the guns. And it was teachers that jumped in front of bullets to stop the kids from being killed. Is that what the fuck? What the fuck? And that's not even, that's the beginning of how fucked up this story is. Okay, so witnesses said Wednesday as investigators worked to track the massacre that lasted upwards of 40 minutes and ended when the 18-year-old shooter was killed by a Border Patrol team. Border Patrol? The local cops did nothing? The school district itself has its own police force. They did nothing? They waited until Border Patrol got there, and then one of them was like, what the fuck? I guess I have to do something. Go in there, go in there, a nearby woman shouted at the officers soon after the attack began. Said Juan Carranza, 24, who saw the scene from outside his house, across the street from Robb Elementary School in the close-knit town of Uvalde. Carranza said the officers did not go in. The officers were there, watched him enter the school, and did nothing for 40 minutes at all. I said this on Twitter earlier, but police are the best when it comes to making anti-cop propaganda. This story, no one on planet Earth who dislikes police could possibly come up with a way to convince people that police are bad more than this story. This story is the most effective piece of anti-cop propaganda that has, in my opinion, that we've ever seen in this country. It's up there, at the very least. How can people see this story and come to the conclusion that cops are the good guys? Where are the bad apples? The whole SWAT team? They have a SWAT team. They stood around outside the school and did nothing. What are the bad apples? The local police, the school district police, the SWAT teams, they did nothing. They waited for the Border Patrol to come in? What? They did nothing at all while 19 kids got fucking shot and killed. Fucking 3rd and 4th graders were fucking shot and murdered while these cops did nothing. That's insane. That is like the most insane thing in the world. They watched the shooter go in, heard the gunshots, and it gets worse. It gets worse. All right. Javier Cazares, whose fourth grade daughter, Jacqueline Cazares, was killed in the attack, said he raced to the school when he heard about the shooting. Arrived while police were still gathering outside the building. Still gathered, that is to say. As in, they gathered and then sat there and did nothing. Upset that the police were not moving in, he raised the idea of charging into the school with several other bystanders. Let's just rush in because the cops aren't doing anything like they are supposed to. He said more could have been done. They were unprepared, he added. $4 million every year. They were not unprepared. They were not unprepared. They were as prepared as they could ever possibly have ever been. They are the most prepared that they've ever been in the history of this city. $4 million every year, excess military equipment contracts. They had SWAT teams, they had helicopters, they had massive amounts of guns. They were not unprepared. They were extremely prepared. They just didn't feel like doing their fucking job. They just didn't care. Minutes earlier, Carranza had watched as Salvador Ramos crashed his truck into a ditch outside the school, grabbed his AR-15 style semi-automatic rifle, and shot at two people outside a nearby funeral home who ran away uninjured. Officials say he encountered a school district security officer outside the school, though there were conflicting reports from authorities on whether the men exchanged gunfire. After running inside, he fired on two arriving Uvalde police officers who are outside the building, said Texas Department of Public Safety spokesperson Travis Considine. The police officers were injured. I want to be very clear. The cops saw him go in and did nothing. Like, they just, I don't care if they're injured. In my opinion, good. Maybe they'll quit and they'll get a job that they can actually handle. After entering the school, Ramos charged into one classroom and began to kill. He barricaded himself by locking the door and just started shooting children and teachers that were inside the classroom. Lieutenant Christopher Olivares of the Department of Public Safety told CNN, "It just shows you the complete evil of the shooter." What about the complete evil of your cops that did nothing, that saw and watched it happen and then said, "Oh, that's cool. Let's stay outside." This is entertainment. This is why we become cops, to be entertained. We're not going to risk our lives to protect children. We're here to watch. That's why we become cops. That way we get a front row seat to the fucking freak show every day. We get a fucking people on the radio telling us where the freaks are. We go there and we watch them kill people. And then maybe we'll do something afterward. I don't know. All those killed were in the same classroom, he said. Department of Public Safety Director Steve McCraw told reporters that 40 minutes to an hour elapsed from when Ramos opened fire on the school security officer to when the tactical team shot him. Though a department spokesperson said later they could not give a solid estimate on how long the gunman was in the school. So wait, the police are saying they have no idea how long he was there? Huh. Interesting. They can't even get they don't even have like a story to stick to. Their story is so bad, they can't even say, "Oh, it was only 15 minutes," and then they all stick to the same lie, because that's how bad it was. The bottom line is law enforcement was there, McCraw said. They did engage immediately. They did contain Ramos in the classroom. Now, I want you to really imagine, this is the director of the Department of Public Safety. Like, this is like one of the head honchos for this entire city's police force. They did engage immediately. They contained him in the classroom. Like, he says that as if it's a good thing. Yeah, we did our jobs. We locked him in a classroom with an assault rifle. And, just happened to be a full class. And he shot and killed 19 kids. That's insane. Like, why would you fucking brag about that? Why would you brag about that? That's not something you brag about. Yeah, we locked the fucking psycho shooter in the room with the kids. Great job. But it also needs to be said that that's not true. He locked himself in the fucking classroom. He locked himself in there. And then the cops didn't do anything about trying to get in there to stop him. Like, they're taking credit for what the shooter did and saying it as if it's a good thing. It's insane. It's insane. It's insane. I need you to understand how fucking insane this is. When I made my video yesterday, that I spent a lot of the time talking about the police in that video, I got some pushback from people on various media sites. They were saying, why are you making the shooting all about the police? Why is your political ideology so blah, 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 blah? You can't even talk about a tragedy like this without blaming cops. And that was yesterday, before we knew all of this information. Like, all we knew yesterday is that they were around for an hour and did nothing. There's more details that I'm going to read. Right? There's more details that I have other videos of. Like, this is way worse than anyone could have possibly imagined yesterday. And yesterday, I was already pretty fucking fucked up about this. So, imagine my shock to find out that the police didn't just do nothing. They did worse than nothing. And we're going to get into this. Meanwhile, a law enforcement official familiar with the investigation said the Border Patrol agents had trouble breaching the classroom door and had to get a staff member to open the room with a key. The official spoke on the condition of anonymity because he was not authorized to speak publicly about the ongoing investigation. Carranza said the officers should have entered the school sooner. No fucking shit, they should have. They shouldn't have even let this fucking psycho enter the school to begin with. Cops can shoot and murder a 13-year-old black kid just for being next to a car. Right? This happens in Chicago with extreme accuracy, but they can't kill someone that's a school shooter. Like, they can kill 13-year-old black kids just fine. Can we get some of those? Like, I say, if we're going to go with the police state route, let's get all the cops who are really good at killing the black kids, right? Because they're really good at that. Right? And get rid of all these fucking morons, right? But guess what? This is the problem when you have these motherfuckers in school, right? Is there's video after video after video after video of school resource officers, that's what they call them, beating the shit out of black kids. I've seen videos, right, where it's like a white kid will punch a black kid in a video in like a lunchroom, right? And then the black kid will get like up and go like, what the fuck are you doing? And then like a resource officer, so-called, will tackle the black kid for getting punched before there's even a fight that happens, right? Like, that's insane. It's insane. It's insane. Like, these people, like, it's like they're hardwired to always do the opposite of what they should be doing. They're hardwired to whatever the best possible outcome is, they go in the opposite direction every time. It doesn't matter the context. It doesn't matter. Cops will always do the worst thing imaginable every single time. It's insane. It is insane. There were more of them. There was just one of him, he said. Uvalde is a largely Latino town of some 16,000 people, about 75 miles from the Mexican border. Robb Elementary, which has nearly 600 students in 2nd, 3rd, and 4th grades, is a single-story brick structure in a mostly residential neighborhood of modest homes. Hundreds packed into bleachers at the town's fairgrounds for a vigil Wednesday, and the crowd swelled so big some stood around the speakers on the, Before attacking the school, Ramos shot and wounded his grandmother at the home they shared. Neighbor Gilbert Gallegos, 82, who lives across the street and had known the family for decades, said he was puttering in his yard when he heard the shots. Ramos ran out the front door, across the small yard, to the truck parked out in front of the house. He seemed panicked, Gallegos said, and had trouble getting the truck out of park. Then he raced away. He spun out, fast, spraying gravel in the air. His grandmother emerged covered in blood. She says, "Berto, this is what he did. He shot me." She was hospitalized. Gallegos, whose wife called 911, said he had heard no arguments before or after the shots and knew of no history of bullying or abuse of Ramos, who he rarely saw. Investigators also shed no light on Ramos's motive for the attack, which also left at least 17 people wounded. Blah, blah, blah. We'll get into fucking Greg Abbott later. We don't see a motive or a catalyst, blah, blah, blah. Ramos legally bought the firearm and a second one like it last week, just after his birthday. It needs to be said that there was a law recently in Texas that reduced the age to buy a gun from 21 to 18. Very interesting. Ramos sent the first of 3 online messages warning about his plans, Abbott said, blah, blah, blah. Ramos wrote that he was going to shoot his grandmother and that he had shot the woman in the last note, sent about 15 minutes before reaching Robb Elementary. He said he was going to shoot up an elementary school. According to Abbott, investigators said Ramos did not specify which school. Ramos sent the private one-to-one text messages via Facebook, said company spokesperson Andy Stone. It was not clear who received the messages. There's a lot more I want to get into from this. But the details coming out about the shooting, they're just so bad. They're just so fucking bad. They're just so bad. I'm gonna show a video here. So, these are the parents, some of which literally had their kids get killed, begging the cops to do something about it. The cops are like, we're handling it. And the cops are like pushing parents away from going inside.
He ain't done yet. She done. It's not good. Y'all should have fucking changed that motherfucker like that. Let him go. Fucking do it to him. Let him go. Give him. I got his ball away. Really shooting.
Like, I need to explain. Like, cops despise the peasants. They despise the people. They despise citizens so much that during an active elementary school shooting, they are more excited about beating the shit out of parents that are trying to save their kids. Like, they enjoy bullying regular people so much that when there's someone in an elementary school literally killing their children, they are more concerned with tackling parents to the ground. So the video, there's not too much in the video, but you can hear in the audio parents screaming at the cops and cops not responding very kindly, to say it the least. But yeah, I just want to play this whole thing because I think it's important to understand, like, the cops are the enemy of everybody. Like, you need to understand, you are on your own. Every time you send your child to school, there's a good chance your child's not coming home. And there's no one that's going to protect your child. There's no one that even wants to pretend to protect your child. Every time you send your child to school, every time you watch them get on the school bus, that's it. Like, by the grace of God, hope and pray that they get home. Cops aren't going to help them. Teachers were literally being human shields, sacrificing their lives to save some of these kids, while the cops stood around outside and tackled parents for just asking them to do their own job. Like, imagine, right, all of these police, imagine if they all went into school. There's like fucking, I counted at least like 12 in full decked out riot gear, fucking wearing like fucking like giant fucking bulletproof vests. They've got 13 guns strapped to them. Why didn't they all just enter the school at once? Because again, it's more fun to beat the shit out of a parent who just had their child get shot and killed. That's more fun than going in to stop it. Don't, like, cops love this. I thought they loved this shit. Isn't that why they became cops? Right? Isn't that what they want to do? Don't they want, like, a mass shooting? Don't they want to be that hero cop that stops the mass shooter? Isn't that what every cop, like, prays for every night before they eat their roast beef? Like, Jesus fucking Christ. Why didn't one of them go in and be the hero cop? Even if they fucking got injured, even if they got killed, they all would. Again, it's more fun to beat the shit out of unarmed parents than it is to stop an active shooter at an elementary school. It's insane. It's insane. And the gaslighting of telling, we're handling it. Like, imagine being a parent. You see the cops saying that they're handling it. We're handling it. We got this. We're handling it. And then knowing later on that they didn't handle it. And then knowing that your child died and the cops lied to you. They lied to you. They told you they were going to do everything that they could, and they lied. So this is, this is what we're dealing with when it comes to cops in the United States. This is what we're dealing with. It's just insane. I want to read this article. This one is fucking insane. I need you to understand that this is insane. What I'm about to read to you, Like, this is fucking insane. I need you to understand just how fucking crazy this is. It is time to die. Fourth grader who survived Uvalde school shooting gives heartbreaking account of what the gunman told students. Fourth grader. Imagine a fucking fourth grader. Like, this isn't like a 34-year-old like teacher who's giving this account. This is a fourth grader recounting their trauma. A fourth grader who survived the mass shooting at Robb Elementary has shared gut-wrenching details about what he witnessed inside the classroom. He shot the next person's door. We have a door in the middle. He opened it. He came in and he crashed a little bit and he said, "It's time to die," the boy recalled. Authorities say the suspect barricaded himself inside a classroom and opened fire on the people inside, killing 19 children and 2 teachers before he was killed by law enforcement. "When I heard the shooting through the door, I told my friend to hide under something so he won't find us," he said. "I was hiding hard, and I was telling my friend not to talk because he is going to hear us." This is a fourth grader speaking. This is a literal child. The boy and 4 others hid under a table that had a tablecloth over it, which may have shielded them from the shooter's view and saved their lives. The boy shared heartbreaking details about what happened in the room. Again, this is insane. When the cops came, the cops said, "Yell if you need help." And one of the persons in my class said, "Help." The guy overheard, and he came in and shot her, the boy said. The cop barged into the classroom, the guy shot at the cop, and the cop started shooting. I want to read this to you again. Police are not well trained at all. Who would possibly ever think about doing this? There's an active shooter, and you're telling people hiding to make themselves known to the shooter? What? When the cops came, the cops said, "Yell if you need help." And one of the persons in my class said, "Help." The guy overheard and he came in and shot her, the boy said. The cop barged into the classroom. The guy shot at the cop and the cop started shooting. The cop got that kid killed. They're not trained for this. This is insane. I say this with I am not happy to report this, but the most effective anti-cop propaganda is just their actions. I could dedicate 70 years to doing mass investigations and making the perfect documentary on police corruption, and that would pale in comparison to this story. This is insane. How could anyone read this and possibly respect the institution of police? How is it possible that someone could read this story and think, "Oh yeah, cops, pretty good"? Where are the Blue Lives Matter people on this shit? It's insane. It's insane. He said that once the shooting stopped, he came out from under the table. I just opened the curtain and I put my hand out. He said, "I got out with my friend. I knew it was police. I saw the armor and the shield." He said his teachers, Irma Garcia and Eva Morales, saved their lives. They were nice teachers, he said. They went in front of my classmates to help to save them. They literally used themselves as human shields so that the kids could get to a safe place. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? That's fucking insane. That's insane. That's insane? The boy said that it made him feel better hugging his family and telling them about his feelings. He spoke with a counselor and said a highlight was seeing his friend who also survived. "I would like to say every kid and parent to be safe," he said. "I would like to say to every kid and parent to be safe." I mean, you know, he's a kid. It's just insane. The cops literally got another child killed. That's fucking incredible. I can't. There are no words that exist in the human language. In any human language, I mean. Like, not just English. There are no words that could ever exist in any human language ever that would possibly be able to describe just how fucking horrible this fucking shit is. Like, I mean, every level, every step of the way, the police made the situation worse at every turn. At every inflection point in this crisis, police made the wrong decision. They will always make the wrong decision. There will never be any time ever where cops save the day. They will always make everything worse until we completely rethink how we make like law enforcement function in this country. The current system is garbage. We need to destroy the current system and start from scratch. The people that become police, they are self-selected to be lunatics. The people that are past the police academy and get hired at these police forces, they are chosen specifically based on their level of incompetence. They don't want free thinkers to be police. A lot of the time, if you score too high on cognitive tests, they won't let you become a cop because they think you won't follow orders. This is criminal negligence. I said this yesterday, but if I am a daycare supervisor, right, and I'm watching a child eat crayons and then they choke and die on the crayons, and I'm just watching it. I'm doing nothing. I didn't give them the crayons, right? I did nothing. I just watched it happen. I would go to jail for criminal negligence. Criminal fucking negligence. Because I failed to do my job. My job was to supervise the kids to make sure that they're safe. I didn't do that. I would go to jail. If you're a cop, do you think any of these cops are going to go to jail? Do you think any of them are going to even lose their job? Do you think any of these cops are going to lose their fucking job? Do you think any of them are going to have any reprimanding at all? At all? Anywhere? Anytime? Anything? No. Nothing. There will be no punishment. They might even get overtime. They might even get a bonus for dealing with the trauma. I guarantee you these cops will get a bonus. Every time police do something wrong, they get a bonus. It's insane. It's fucking crazy.